Hey guys, I have a Christmas gift tag to share with you today featuring the Octopode Factory digital images. I'm starting out with some tissue paper and a Believe script stamp and some watering can archival ink. And this stamp is really old. I got it at Michael's like 15 years ago, I would say. And the rubber kind of got a little wonky, so it doesn't stamp that good, but it's just going to be background stamping, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to apply my tissue paper to a regular old shipping tag with some Collage Page matte, and I'm going to scrunch up the paper as I go so I can get some wrinkles. After that to dry, I'm taking my Koi watercolor set, and there is a red in the set that's like the perfect Christmas red, and I'm applying that to like the edges of my tag, and I know it doesn't look good now, but my plan is to put gesso on top of it and it'll look better, I hope. So after that's dry, I'm going to go in with some gesso now, and because this is watercolors, when the gesso goes on top of it, it reactivates the pigments in the watercolor, and you can still see some of that red through. The gesso does tone it down quite a bit, but the red comes through, and that was my plan. And I'm using a brush with a really stiff bristle and really working the gesso in there to get the color from the watercolor to come up through the gesso. And it's a very muted look, and that's what I was going for. So now I just have some regular old craft paint in a gold color, and I'm using my finger to try to catch some of that texture that I made when I scrunched up the tissue paper. Using the same Koi watercolor set, there's also a nice Christmassy green in the set that I just watered down and made some splatters. Now I have a Viva Las Vegas stamp called Mesh Texture and archival ink in red geranium, and I'm just stamping the corners of my tag and then using my big bite to punch out the hole for my tag. So there's my little Octopode Factory guy. He's actually, I have this stamp set. It's called Santa and I can't remember the exact name of it, but I'll link it down below. And I'm going to show you how I use it, like the way it's intended with Santa and the reindeer, and then I'm just going to use Santa, and then I'm just going to do the reindeer. So it's one stamp that you can use several different ways, and it's a digital image, which means that you print it out on your computer, or you could use it in digital art, but I print it out, and you can resize it, which is another nice thing that you can't do with like conventional stamps. The size that it is, you're stuck with, but with digital images you can resize them, and that's what I did. I printed out the digital images in several different sizes, and then this reindeer I colored with watercolors, so it matches my background perfectly because I used that same watercolor, the Koi watercolor set, to color my reindeer that I used on the background. So I'm trying to make a little like embellishment cluster for my reindeer to stand on, and I just have like a piece of like Christmas garland that has like baubles on it and a pine cone, and I wrapped some really thin red jewelry wire around it. And this right here is a Tim Holtz Wildflowers die, and then I'm going to set my branch on top of that with some hot glue. And then I also have this ribbon. It's from a Tim Holtz trimming set. It's like a bunch of vintagey Christmas like ribbons. And I'm just going to glue him right on top there. And my image, I put some cardboard behind him to kind of pop him up so he's a little more dimensional. Then after everything's applied, I'm going to add 3 little snowflakes that I punched out with a punch. And then I'm going to go around my edges with a black ink pad to kind of frame everything in. And I tied some gold string around the top. And that's my tag. In the still shots, you'll see that I wrote, it's a gift tag, so I wanted to say to and from, but I wrote out the to. You can see in the still shots here. And I will have the other 2 videos where I show you how I use the stamp in 2 different ways coming up shortly, and links down below to the Octopode factory and the stamp that I used. And I encourage you to check out the shop. They have a ton of adorable Christmas images and a ton of other images for other times too. So I hope you enjoyed my tag. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.